Hey everybody, we're in John chapter 8 this week, and I'm excited about this chapter. Why? Because there's just a lot of material in there, and there's a lot of things that you can be digging through as you read to help understand who Jesus is, but also the context of what's happening as you go through John 8, of things continue to intensify between Jesus and the religious leaders of the day. So as you start in John chapter 8, there's actually a thing, I think they call them dagger marks, or they put it in quotes and said this isn't in the original manuscripts or in some of the earliest manuscripts, and that's the woman caught in adultery. Okay? Look up, see if you can't see, like, why is it there? What are some opinions of people of how it got in there? But I think it is a very, very amazing story about Jesus and how he can sit there, and as people try to trap him with sinners around him, he sits there and shows mercy and grace. But he also calls people always to the same level of hey, we're all sinners, and we all need to look at people through the eyes of sinners and use mercy and grace to show that. Okay? So at the very beginning, it's the woman caught in adultery. And that's the story I'm going to be telling this week also. But then we jump in, and in John chapter 8, we get to the second I am statement. Jesus says, I am the light of the world. Okay? And he's going to repeat that a couple of times. So every time he says it in this chapter, and I even believe in the next chapter, what John is saying is that Jesus is saying, I am the I am. Jehovah, the light of the world. It's a descriptor of who God is, but who Jesus is as well. So be looking for that. And as I mentioned before with the first one, we talked about I am the bread and I am the light. Look to see how people react in that passage whenever he says an I am statement. But in this chapter, you have a bonus I am statement, where we talk about the 7 I am statements of John of I am the bread, I am the light, I am the vine, I am the shepherd. There's one that is so clearly stated in here that the Jewish people see it so profound, they immediately are ready to stone Jesus because of it. And that's at the very end, and it says, before Abraham was, I am. Now let me just refresh. I am means Jehovah, the name of God. Jesus very bluntly, very clearly says, before Abraham was, I am the I am. I am Jehovah. And all the Jewish people of that context knew he just declared himself God. And they were ready to stone him from blasphemy. Okay? But look at the dialogue that goes on in this conversation. There's a lot of accusations that go on. A lot of accusations that the Jewish leader is going to throw at Jesus in this. So look to see what are those accusations, and how does Jesus respond to those accusations? Okay, so look through that dialogue process and see how Jesus responds when people want to criticize him and throw insults at him along the way. And I find it amazing, just a little tidbit of info for this as you read through and look. The chapter begins with people wanting to stone a woman caught in adultery. The chapter ends with them wanting to stone Jesus. So that's the bookends of this chapter. Stoning someone who committed sin, and then the crowd gets so angry and mad they're ready to stone Jesus himself. All right? So, like I said, I'm excited about this chapter. I hope you are too. Dig into the Word, study it. I look forward to hearing some of your insights as well, okay? God bless. John chapter 8. Jesus was out at the Mount of Olives, and the next morning he went up into the synagogue to teach. And as he was teaching among the people, the Pharisees and scribes came and threw a woman in front of him that was caught in the act of adultery. And when they threw her down, they said, Teacher, according to the law of Moses, she is to be taken and stoned. But what do you say that we do with her? Jesus dropped down and began writing in the sand, and they continued to ask him, What are we to do with her? He stood up and replied, Those without sin can cast the first stone. And then immediately he dropped back down and started writing in the sand again. And then slowly, one by one, starting with the oldest, people just started walking away. And then finally, when there was no one there, Jesus stood up and looked at the woman and said, Where have all your accusers gone? She said, They have left, Lord. He said, Then he said, then I will not condemn you either. And go and sin no more. And that's the story of John chapter 8.